But what is the person who comes, who completes the program, who then goes on? What kind of person does that look like?
You and I both know that there's no one size fits all for anyone seeking recovery.
Right.
We're not the right fit for every person.
For sure.
And so we have to recognize that. Most of the individuals that walk through our doors have burned every bridge and they have no other options. So then it makes it important for us to remove all the barriers that we possibly can for them to be with us. The person that kind of best fits is the person that says, all right, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm done. I'm spent and I'm ready.
Have you heard the saying, the opposite of addiction is connection? We at the Addiction Prevention Coalition know that there's truth in that adage. And so we are fighting addiction face to face, conversation by conversation, creating connection. Here at The Shield, our new podcast, no topic is off limits because there are no limits when it comes to substance use disorder. Welcome to The Shield. This is where we just kind of sit down face to face. We talk about all things related to mental health and substance use in Central Alabama. And in doing so, we really shine a light on some amazing things that are happening in this part of the state and in the state as a whole. And when I first moved here about a year ago, people kept saying, have you heard about the Foundry? Have you heard about the Foundry? Have you heard about the Foundry? And then Randy, who, everyone loves, was like, you gotta have the Foundry on the podcast. So without further ado, Micah Andrews, CEO of the Foundry. Welcome to The Shield.
Well, thank you so very much.
I love that you don't even really know what you're getting into. You just come here and you're like, let's chat.
That's it. It's easy like that, right?
I love it. So as I've said numerous times on here, I like to find out about people in real time. So I'm going to ask just kind of some basic questions, really, because I want to find out about you, but also about the Foundry. So let's start with the Foundry. So What is it? It's a pretty, it's one of the, I would say, more well-known nonprofits.
Sure.
Okay. So tell folks what it is.
So I think in part, you become one of the well-known organizations when you've just been around a long time.
Okay.
Right. So I think that's one aspect of it.
How long have
and
y'all
so
been
the Foundry's
around?
been around since 71. So we'll be, we're almost in our 55th year.
Happy birthday almost.
Absolutely. And so the Foundry's kind of had this evolution over those 55 years, really began in 71 as a rescue mission in downtown Bessemer, which is really just an outskirt here of Birmingham. And during that time, the steel industry was really booming in West Jefferson County.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was an element of transient population. And so the food and shelter need was pretty prevalent in the early 70s. And there were these two ministers that said, hey, we need to do something about this. So they started what was the Bessemer Rescue Mission. And so from 71 till about 96, the Bessemer Rescue Mission was really a soup kitchen and an overnight shelter. My predecessor, Bill Heinz, came in 1996 and kind of said, all right, so there's some issues here with the people that we're serving that we're not addressing. And those were addiction issues, right? And substance use issues that nobody was really doing anything for.
Because before that, it had been primarily basic needs.
That's it.
Okay.
That's it. Social services with a faith, obviously a faith
component,
slant to it, right?
And for men only.
It was for men and women.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, men and women, primarily men. And then so in 1996, my predecessor, Bill, came and said, all right, we need to add some layers to what we do to help people. Mm-hmm. And we became a rescue mission and recovery center. Mm-hmm. And so there was a little name change. We became the City of Hope. And so from 96 to about 2004, we were known as the City of Hope. Really kind of a two-track model. Still the food and shelter and clothing, that kind of thing, basic needs. But also the recovery component. 2004, we kind of had an online presence for the first time.
Oh.
And the City of Hope's name was trademarked by a cancer organization in California. So they thought it was probably in their best interest for us to stop using that name.
Yeah.
And therefore, we became the Foundry.
So you've gone through 3 name changes.
3 name changes.
Whoa. And yet you're still pretty well known. That must speak to the quality of what you all do.
Yeah, I think it does, for sure, Nichole. And so in 1996, 2004, we became the Foundry Rescue Mission and Recovery Center. And tracked on for a number of years that way, then kind of shifted even one more time to just the Foundry Ministries.
Got
A
it.
little bit more encompassing of what we did.
Okay.
We became a 3-legged stool almost in 3 varied program efforts. Still the rescue. So we were providing hot meals for those folks that were still in the community.
And not just Bessemer.
That's right.
You've expanded.
That's right. And
Got
so
it.
we were into Birmingham to some degree.
Got it.
We were obviously a recovery program, but we were a men's reentry program for 15 years for men coming straight out of the prison system. And so as we trucked along that and that 3-pronged approach, and I became the CEO in 2016.
Okay.
And then in 2019, some of the Alabama Department of Corrections policies and procedures shifted, and it gave us an opportunity to kind of divest the reentry program to another organization. And so we started kind of narrowing our focus.
Yep.
Then 2020 comes along, and then there were some food service organizations that kind of rose to the surface that kind of started taking on those needs in West Jefferson County at a much higher level and a better quality than we were doing. So we were again in 2020 able to kind of narrow our focus to truly be a faith-based residential recovery program.
What I am loving about what you're describing is, I think, something that a lot of people don't always get to see, which is the sort of morphing of a nonprofit to meet a need and then to scale back when they realize maybe somebody else is already meeting that need, or maybe, to your point, maybe might be meeting it more fully. And there is I think a feeling that it's really competitive with nonprofits. And that's not always the case.
That's right.
What really, I think, in my experience, is more the case is exactly what you're describing, which is like, hey, you do that thing really, really well. We don't need to do that thing.
That's right.
We just need to refer and collaborate with you so that you can do your thing and we can do our thing. And then together we will do all the things.
That's right.
Right. But I don't think that most folks understand how nimble a nonprofit can be.
Right.
Which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that was one of the things that I discovered because I'd been at the Foundry since 2008. So I've been there 17 years.
Okay.
Been the CEO for 9 or going on 9. But one of the things I realized is I don't have to be the jack of all trades as an organization.
Yes.
The great thing for me is both of those 2 organizations that kind of took that, I don't want to call it a burden, but took that responsibility that we had felt off of our organization. I still to this day make recommendations
Absolutely.
and referrals to them because they're really good at what they do.
Yes.
And so we were looking for good partners.
And in turn, you were able to double down and focus. And so you all have gotten really good at what you do.
That was it. We had, I kind of described it as we were a mile wide and an inch deep. So in 2020, 2021, I met with our executive team and I said, all right, what would it look like for us to do this
Yes.
and expand?
Yes.
We were a long-term, when I first got there in 2008, we were an 18-month residential recovery program. Well, that evolved because the dynamics of society shifted, right? And so we went from an 18-month to a 12-month to a 9-month program. And then again in 2021, we said, all right, what does this look like for us? Because there were people that were saying, I need your help, but I can't commit to 9 months.
Right.
We said, okay, I understand that. So we said, all right, how can we cram 9 months into 6 months? So what we do currently is we are a 6-month residential with a 3-month post-residential recovery program. So the window is still about 9 months. But through our aftercare efforts, we now have about a 3-year commitment to an individual that they can kind of remain a part of, I guess, programming, but
Wow.
really the circle of care.
So talk to me about what I I will use this word really loosely. But what does like a I was going to say successful, but I don't like that word. Like a
Yeah,
person who gets referred to your program, what is going to really what about that person is going to make your model the best?
gotcha.
Do you know what I
I do.
mean? Successful is not the right word because they're there, they're showing up. That's,
That's a
that's
win,
half the battle.
right?
Exactly. But what is the person who comes, who completes the program, who then goes on? What kind of person does that look like?
Yeah. So you and I both know that there's no one size
Oh
fits
no.
all
Mm-mm.
for anyone seeking recovery,
Right.
right?
And that's part of our job, right? Is to meet with that person and figure out what would work
That's
best
right.
because we want to meet them where they are. So what kind of person would we want to send to you?
Yeah. So the next piece of that I would say in answering that the long way, I guess, is we're not the right fit for every person.
For sure.
And so we have to recognize that. Sometimes we don't recognize that until they've been with us for a couple of weeks,
Yeah, I
right?
know.
And then you try to make those transitions.
Sounds
Um,
like my ex-boyfriends.
Fair enough.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I wish I'd have known that on the front end,
No
right?
kidding. No
Yeah.
kidding.
We'd have
Okay,
been in a
I'm
much better
sorry.
place.
I'm sorry.
But so being a long-term residential,
Yeah,
that kind of narrows the opportunities, right?
that's right.
Because not everybody's looking for, not everybody's at the end of the line yet. And
Yes.
so we kind of see ourselves as a trauma center.
Oh, okay.
And so when folks come to us, they typically have gone through 4.3 recovery programs prior to arriving at the Foundry.
4.3, not
Yeah,
that you've done any
we've
research.
done the
Yeah.
math, right?
Okay, so
Uh,
they've been somewhere at
Multiple
least 4
times,
times.
right.
All right.
And so some of those are 30 days, some of those are 60 days, some of those are 90 days.
Mm,
Most of the individuals that walk through our doors have burned every bridge and they have no other options.
yeah.
So then it makes it important for us to remove all the barriers that we possibly can for them to be with us. So the person that kind of best fits is the person that says, all right, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Mhm.
I'm done. I'm spent and I'm ready. And so again, you don't always know that on the front end.
Right.
Um,
But there is a faith component to your program.
there
Right.
absolutely is. And so we are a faith-based recovery model. But the great thing is being a believer or a Christian is not a prerequisite to admission, right? I get asked all the time, not all the time, but sometimes, do I have to be a believer in order to graduate?
Yeah. Mm,
And my response is absolutely not.
mm.
But I want to be real clear on the front end how we're going to set the table.
Right.
We're going to prepare a buffet, and you get to eat what you choose to eat. We're
Mhm.
not going to force feed you, but we're not going to create another meal as well, right? And so that's kind of the imagery that I project because we believe that every person is born with a desire inside of them to know God.
Mm.
And so our programming fits that same model. There's a major relapse prevention component to what we do. It's not just Bible studies and kumbaya, right? So we take a deep dive into as much as we can the neurological aspects of
Great.
addiction and recovery. There's a process that we call the Genesis process that we use as our primary curriculum.
Mhm.
It's not necessarily 12 steps, but there are 12 modules that you kind of walk through.
Okay.
And we couple that with a life skills curriculum called Living Free
Mm.
that is more topical based,
Mhm.
depression, anger, some of the things that we have found. We do this neat intake survey. It's a feelings wheel, essentially. What did you feel like the day you walked
Yeah.
in the door? And we have taken several years of that data, and we realize that sadness, fear, and anxiety are the top 3 emotions that people feel when they walk through our doors. So we've formed a curriculum around how do we help you navigate through those
Mm.
so that when you leave, you're in a better position than you were when you got here.
Right.
And so,
And I would also probably argue that those feelings, fear, sadness, and depression,
yeah,
is that what you said?
anxiety, depression.
Anxiety, that those are because I've been in the prevention world for so long, I would suggest that those feelings are kind of the drivers of why they started using substances in the first place.
For sure.
Right. And so how do we help folks cope with those feelings in healthier ways so that they're not, at your doorstep going, I'm still feeling this way after doing all the things to try to numb it.
That's right.
Yeah. Wow.
That's
Wow.
right. And so we have kind of a 5-prong approach. We call it the Foundry Way. And we've been doing this for probably 12, 14 years. But one of the things that drives our staff crazy is I refuse to let stuff lay still.
Look,
so
I knew I liked you.
I'm always
yes.
tweaking stuff, right? Because here's why. Because I believe God deserves my best, and I believe those that we serve deserve our best. And so we're always, one of our core values is continuously improving. So we're always working on it. But the 5 core principles of kind of our methodology is the classroom. And that has a multiple, it's almost like we have the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grades, right? Because there are phases.
Got it.
So we don't expect the person that walks through our door to be functioning like a senior would be.
Right.
But there's a classroom component. There's a counseling component, which is one-on-one, but also there's group sessions.
Okay.
There's also peer-led sessions, which we found to be very, very productive. There's a workforce development component of what we do. There's a case management piece, which is really the practical piece of, all right, I'm going to leave here one day. What are the tools that I need in order to be able to function and live again?
Right.
Again, because most of the folks that come to us have lost everything. Yeah. They're not leaving a job in order to come to rehab. Right. They've lost everything. And so it's how do we help you rebuild the pieces? And then the 5th piece of the Foundry Way is aftercare. What does it look like on the back end?
Just so huge. And I feel like for decades, we didn't really realize that.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, both with releasing folks from incarceration, having kids age out of foster care, having people leave treatment. I mean, we just were like, oh, you're done. Good job. Good luck to you. And I am so thankful that we finally realized that it doesn't end when you leave.
That's right.
Right. That's actually when a lot of the real work begins.
That's right.
Because you have to figure out how to do it on your own.
And our key, I think, for us, what we recognize is the key for aftercare. I can put it in one word: community.
Yeah.
We want you to have now, here's the reality. Everybody doesn't want to be an alumni of a recovery program. Right?
That's true.
They don't.
That's true. It's not like their badge of honor.
No,
exactly.
I want to put it behind me, and I want to move forward.
Exactly.
But I had a call Saturday night from a guy that graduated our program maybe 4 years ago, and said, "Hey, I just want you to know I'm not in the best of places. I haven't had a full blown relapse, but I'm just in a bad place."
Yeah.
He said, "Can I come back for a little bit?" And we have what we would refer to as transitional housing campus. And so he's coming back for 2 weeks tomorrow, right?
Needs a little bit of a reset.
And that's it. But what I loved about it was he felt comfortable enough.
That's amazing.
That he had a community that he could re-engage with. And so we've put a lot of effort in our aftercare bucket, so to speak, in the last 2 years, because we recognized that was a kind of a gap in our services, a gap in what we were able to offer people. And so the Foundry Way is I call it 5 buckets. And that's kind of the way we approach our continuum of care for folks.
How do you fund these 5 buckets?
Yeah, that's always the joy, right?
Oh, yikes.
There's a reason we're called nonprofits.
Look, I had a funder when I was in St. Louis. It was their favorite question after a site visit to go, what keeps you up at night?
Yes.
Let's reframe this question and say, what doesn't keep me up at night?
That's
but
right.
numero uno
That's
is
right.
how we're going to fund this amazing work and the team of people that are doing this incredible work.
Yeah.
And I know that they were always looking for a different answer, but that's the answer. Because if we can't fund the work, then we can't.
That's it.
We can't do the work.
Right? I had a guy tell me one time, he said, as nonprofits, what we do, we don't do for money, but it requires money.
We are businesses.
Yeah,
what
absolutely.
we do is our widget is helping people.
That's right.
Yes. Yeah, it's not shoes or a couch. We're not selling things like that. We're not fixing. We are helping people. That
Yeah.
is what we are selling.
I used to think bigger was better, and then I realized
Yes.
bigger was just tougher. And so
Oh, look. Yes.
so the Foundry this year will be about a $10 million annual operating budget.
Because it's hard to sustain.
Oh, for sure.
Once you're big, it's hard to sustain that level of infrastructure, the fleet of vehicles, the staff, all the things.
That's right.
Smaller is you get to be a little scrappier. And it's still hard, but it's a different kind of hard.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you're a $10 million agency.
Yeah.
Okay.
So of that annual operating budget, about 62% we fund by businesses that we own and operate, primarily thrift stores.
Yes, sir.
We have an automobile donation process and system. It used to be much larger, but those three really kind of drive about 62% of revenue for us annually.
Fantastic. And I'm assuming you're utilizing your former like clients or participants to help out?
So yes, to some degree.
To some degree,
So
okay.
so about 25% of our staff are graduates of our recovery program.
Awesome.
And so that's it. And plus, there are certain positions. A mom calls the Foundry, they don't need to talk to Micah, right? They need to talk to somebody that's been there, done that. And so there are certain positions that we strategically hire graduates for.
Yeah, that's super smart.
Then there are also some that we strategically don't hire graduates for.
Understood.
Right? And some of those come from lessons learned.
Yep.
But so
62% comes from basically like your enterprise.
Our enterprises.
Yes.
That's
okay.
right.
Okay.
And then less than about 7% comes from participant fees.
Got it.
We try to keep that as a barrier that we can remove. So $695 is the one-time fee for the entire 9-month program.
Yes.
And so the remaining 20-something% is just direct fundraising.
Gotcha.
And
so no grants?
So in grants would be in our fundraising budget.
Okay.
So thankfully I have, if there's any success for Micah, I've hired well. And so we have an amazing development staff that will soon be 6 individuals
That's incredible.
that are doing things. We do 4 major events each year. Some of those, they're all fundraising, but some of them have more of an awareness element to them than they do a primary fundraising effort.
Yep.
We still do a very significant amount of direct mail.
Okay.
I tried to let it die, but it just won't. But it's been a very, very, here's the other side of it.
Some people just want to write a check
That's it.
And send it in, and they want to get that newsletter, and they want to see what's going on.
That's it.
They want to see their name in print. I mean, especially if they've been doing it for a long time.
And most of our long-term donors respond to direct mail.
Yeah.
Grants is a big piece of what we do.
Yep.
A lot of foundation grants.
Got it.
And so that's really kind of the development bucket for us.
Do you have a fall fundraiser that's coming up?
So we do. October the 1st. It's called the Alabama Leader Summit.
Oh, okay.
And we do it at the Sheraton. This is our 15th year to host this event. It's at the Sheraton downtown Birmingham. And we always bring in an SEC football coach because we used to have it in May. When we moved it to October, we kind of got out of the football coaching side. So we have Ernie Johnson Jr., which is a NBA on TNT host.
Oh, cool.
Phenomenal guy with an amazing
Ronnie's
story.
over here very excited.
Yes.
I think Ronnie and I are going to this event.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
All right. So tell me more. So he speaks and
so he wrote a book last year called Unscripted. And when I read this book, he's talking about his life being not always following the script that he had for his own life, right? Which, come on, who doesn't face that? But as soon as I read this book last summer, I thought, that guy needs to come to Birmingham because not only the people that I serve, but the people that are a part of our network, our donors, our supporters, even people that don't know about us, they need to hear this guy's story because we all gain something from other relationships, right? And so he'll be coming October the 1st. It's a breakfast.
Cool.
At the Sheraton.
That's smart.
That's
smart. Breakfasts are a lot better than galas and dinners at night.
We don't do anything. None of our events are PM events. Now, they weren't always that way.
I
At
know.
one time, they were all
Well,
night
look, after
events.
COVID, no one wants to go anywhere.
That's right. Yeah.
But October 1st breakfast, like, oh, I get to come to work a little bit late and I get to like network a little bit. You know, I mean,
That's right.
that's the new world we're living in.
That's it.
So
And
very smart. Okay. And then I'm assuming you'll have an end of year appeal at the end.
We do.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah.
And I'll say this: we're kind of really the Foundry has really been in this situation for the last year of addressing a lot of physical campus needs because all of our campuses are old.
Uh-huh.
In fact, one of our buildings in our Bessemer campus is 91 years old.
Ooh,
And I shared with our board, I said, if you have a 91-year-old house, you would say it has character. But you put 500 men in that house every year for 4 decades, it doesn't have character, right? And so we are kind of on the cusp of a master plan campaign.
Love it. Okay.
That will be a big piece of what we do because, again, I believe every person that we serve deserves our best.
Yeah.
And so we're putting a lot of effort and a lot of energy in the coming months and years into elevating our facilities and our campuses because I don't want anybody to walk in to not walk into a space of dignity.
Especially if they're feeling scared and
Absolutely.
anxious and sad, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, you want them to feel like they can walk in and take a breath.
That's it.
Like they can exhale.
That's it.
Did you ever think you'd be running a recovery mission like this on this scale? Was this like what little Micah thought, as he's like crisscross applesauce on the kindergarten square?
My 8-year-old self never considered this as an option, right?
Okay, right? Like
it was on the
like
radar.
Lawyer, doctor, teacher, firefighter,
anything,
right? Like, yeah.
Yeah. So, not at all. So my dad is a pastor.
Okay.
And so I grew up in a ministry environment. My mother was an elementary school teacher at an inner city school.
So that crisscross applesauce, that took you way back.
It did. I went back to the beginning. But what I learned, you don't know it in the moment, but when you look back in life, you realize I was raised in an environment that was all about helping and serving people.
Yeah.
So I knew from an early age that was kind of in my DNA. And so I went to college and got a degree in sociology.
Okay.
Wanted to work in the juvenile court system.
Mm.
About 2 weeks before graduation, had an opportunity to come to Birmingham to do a summer internship with a student ministry at a local church. Well, my soon-to-be wife was already living in Birmingham, so I said, I'm going to Birmingham. I was from Tuscaloosa originally, so I'm an Alabama guy.
Right. Got it. I couldn't tell by your accent.
Yeah, it doesn't show at all, does it, Nichole? There's some things you just can't separate.
No.
So ended up being in youth ministry for 12 years.
Okay.
And so that was kind of, I really thought at that point I was going to be the oldest youth pastor in the history of youth pastors.
You're going to be 91.
I really did. I mean,
91
I was like,
with
I
your
think I can retire being a youth pastor.
Yeah. They're
But something
keeping me young.
Something about those missions trips and late night lock-ins.
Look.
They take a toll.
They do.
And so when I was 35 years old, I had this very personal and private encounter with God that I felt him speak to my heart to say, if you trust me, step out. And I was like, I want to be known for trusting in you, but I'm not so sure about this step out thing. I got a mortgage, a car payment, 2 little girls at home. My wife's a school teacher, so we weren't kind of at the top of the list of any list.
Sure.
But we did. We took a step of faith. And through about 61 days of what I called my unemployment wilderness, I had a unique opportunity with a guy named Dan Dunn, who was an old Irish priest that was the director, the CEO of a big organization here in Birmingham. And he just kind of helped me navigate the nonprofit world. And I found out about the Association of Alabama Association of Nonprofits.
Yes.
Had a job board.
We are part of it.
We are too. I found out about it. They had a job board. Foundry had posted an entry-level position. I put in my resume. I interviewed the next week, started the next Monday, because I walked in and thought, man, I hope this is a paying job, because the job was volunteer coordinator. Right? And I was like,
you're like, am I the top volunteer here?
Surely this is a paying gig. And so I never thought that I would be leading the organization that I started at the very bottom with. Yeah. But through a chain of a bunch of events, I ended up going back to school, getting a master's in public administration. which kind of gave me the idea and understanding of how to navigate nonprofits.
Yeah.
My strength is not in recovery. My strength is in loving people, serving people, and leading an organization.
Mm.
That's, we talked earlier about our superpowers.
Yes.
I'm not sure that any of those are my superpowers, but those are my passions.
Got it.
I'm probably a better chief culture officer than I
Mm.
am a chief executive officer. And I love to be able to say, all right, here's the direction we're going. Let's go together. And that's kind of the dynamic at the Foundry that's taken place for at least the last 9 years for me.
Wow.
So,
Wow. That's really, I'm pausing because you don't really know me. But I started at my previous organization. I was there for 16 years, and I also started entry level teaching in classrooms and worked kind of all the way up to executive director. And I never thought that, it's like 16 years. How does that happen? But it happens
yeah,
because you're crazy about the mission and you're crazy about the people that
yeah,
you work with,
that's
right?
it.
And when you have those two things, I mean, you're still working, but it doesn't feel like it, especially when you're surrounded by people who are so incredibly passionate and good at what they do. And I love that before cameras started rolling, I asked you a question and you're like, you know what? I don't know the answer to that. And that's okay with me.
Yeah,
And that's okay. Like, you pride yourself on not having to have all the answers.
that's it. I don't have to know everything.
Mm.
I just have to surround myself with people that do.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
that's been the organizational success of the Foundry has been just that. And I learned that from my predecessor. He'd been there 20 plus years. Phenomenal guy. And his model was just that. I don't have to know everything,
Mm.
but I'm going to surround myself with great people. And I watched him do that for a number of years. And then I thought, I get that. That's
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
That's me.
So if people want to support the Foundry, they could come on October 1st.
For sure.
They could shop at your stores.
Absolutely.
Right? They could maybe sign up for that good old fashioned direct mail.
Absolutely.
Is there anything else that, like, you all have like a real need for? Because I know that some people listen and are like, they want to know how they can get involved.
Yeah. So volunteering, right? And so
Okay.
that's a big
Well,
piece.
yeah, you started
that I've
as
gotta talk
volunteer
about.
coordinator.
Absolutely. It's in
Yeah.
my bloodline. And here's what I've learned. The majority of people that come to the Foundry to serve have some kind of exposure to substance abuse and to recovery, whether it was a
Mhm.
family member.
Yep.
And the greatest benefit to our participants is not necessarily what you do while you're there. Can you serve a meal? Yeah. Can you lead a study? Yes. Can you serve in our thrift stores? Yes. The greatest interaction or the greatest benefit comes from the one-on-one interaction.
Mm.
Because, for example, a gentleman in our recovery program has lost access to his children because, let's just be honest, he hasn't been a good father.
Yeah.
Well, when we pair him up working with someone who is a rock star dad, guess what comes up in those conversations and during their time together over the course of months,
That's right.
right? And so he's learning things from people that I'm not paying to teach.
Right.
And so the benefit is really twofold because our participants are benefiting, but also the guy that's giving of his time, he's benefiting
Mm.
because he's investing
Oh,
himself into somebody
absolutely.
else.
Absolutely.
And so
Absolutely.
we have a pretty robust volunteer program. We have a full-time, obviously. I've kept that position because I saw the value in it.
Uh-huh.
So we have an app, VOMO, VOMO.
Wow.
And so you sign up on it's not proprietary to the
Yeah,
Foundry,
cool.
but we're posted there, so you can see all of our
Awesome.
volunteer opportunities on VOMO. And the benefit for our participants, like I said, is not necessarily what you do. Your presence is way more powerful than any message you would ever try to send or share. So
I am so grateful that Randy suggested. He didn't suggest. He basically told me. He's like, this
Yeah.
is happening. I'm like, okay, I will do what you say, Randy. He's going to be my boss someday. It's fine.
I love it.
But I'm so glad that he said to me, like, you have to have Micah on. And I had heard the name. I had passed by some of the stores, but
Sure.
I had never really known that much. So thank you so much for coming on and just sharing a little bit about you as a human, but also about the Foundry.
It's been my pleasure. So thank you for the opportunity.
You're welcome. If you liked what you heard, and I know you did, please consider rating, reviewing, and subscribing to The Shield. Thank you.